Okay, we're in business. Okay, so welcome to the webinar, and without further ado, let's get on with it. Thank you for attending this evening. I hope that this is a convenient time for you. We don't usually do them at this time, but I thought if we did this as an experiment, you can let me know whether this works for you or not. We are going to be recording this webinar, but there will be one or two pieces of it that will be deleted from the recording, and that's because I'm going to show you some very, very interesting stuff today that I'm happy to share with you as you've taken the trouble to attend this webinar, but it's not something that I would distribute to the whole world. So please make sure you stay with us, and we'll get through the formal part of this as quickly as we can, because markets have been very, very exciting lately, and I want to show you why markets do what they do. So for those of you who haven't become familiar with the DanielCode, let me tell you just a very short story. I'm an attorney by profession, and I live in Australia and New Zealand, which is the other end of the world to you, so that you may see a bit of a lag as I'm talking, because I'll be seeing the screen well before you do. But I started off being interested in futures and Forex trading about 20-something years ago, and I spent more than a small fortune on tutorials, books, charting programs, technology, anything you can think of. I went on an obsessive search to find out about markets, and I don't mean this to be critical of anyone, but for me personally, nothing worked. I was not able to feel comfortable with what I was seeing. I didn't understand the logic of many of these trading systems. And most importantly, it appeared to me that markets were random and fragmented, and I did not feel comfortable with them. So after 6 or 7 years of that quest, I decided one day that if I was going to continue with trading, I had to find something a whole lot better. And that took me 2 or 3 years before I started to see the DanielCode and found the DanielCode. It was in truth a discovery, and since then it's just developed and developed, and we get more and more output from it. And what I want to show you today is that markets are orderly and move in fairly regular fixed patterns to price numbers, and those price numbers are the DanielCode ratios. Now, I'm going to show this all to you later on. So bear that in mind. That's going to be something new for most of you. And right now, I'd just like to tell you a bit about the DanielCode Auto Trade GENIE, which is our main subject today. And this is a machine that we've created. It's a electronic machine. And what it does is it will take the DanielCode trade signals, which are primarily a 1 to 10 day trading system in futures and Forex, and it creates all of the orders for you. Now, we know that we have a lot of new members and a lot of competent traders. The work involved in creating signals and the proper stop-loss protocols and managing those stop-losses through to the exits are pretty demanding. And the DanielCode, unlike other systems, can create a lot of trades. We would average 6 or 7 trades a day, and sometimes we can have up to 16 or 18 trades. We don't do just 1 or 2 or 3 markets, because all markets work exactly the same on the DanielCode. So we cover all of the US equity indices, gold and silver, oil and T-bonds, 3 grains, and 15 Forex pairs. So we're covering about 30-something markets, and that creates a lot of signals. One of the benefits of that is that volatility in markets comes in waves. So you'll see as we get on further to talk about the results of the DanielCode trade programs, which is what many of you will be primarily interested in, it runs at an average of about 7.2, 7.4% return a month, not a year, a month, on a 2% correlated risk. And that's the maximum that we recommend you trade. But volatility comes and goes in waves. In the Forex, for example, volatility, that's the average daily bar range, has reduced by 35 to 60% since November. On the other hand, volatility in futures has increased dramatically. So for the month of January, this DanielCode trade program returned better than 12% for the month, and for February it returned 7.4%. In that same period, the return on Forex was very muted. So we got huge volatility in the futures and not in Forex. So what I want to say to you is all markets are the same. The optimum for your trading is if you can trade all of the DanielCode markets. Now, I caution you that given the size of the margins and the size of some of these futures contracts, you will need a fairly large account to do that. And for most of you, you won't have access to that sort of an account. And for those who don't have an account of that size, Forex is your choice. The reason for that, and the reason why Forex is the fastest growing market in the world, is because there are many Forex contracts that work on $1 a tick. So you can trade Forex with a comparatively small account. People will always ask the question, so let me tell you, we do have clients who trade Forex on a $3,000 account. I think that's too small. I think 5,000 or 6,000 is better. And for futures, realistically, you are going to need about a $40,000 account minimum to trade the futures. Let's move on, and I'll show you where this all starts. It's in the DanielCode website, where we have this trade program, which is a marvelous invention because it's very clever and it does a lot of the work for you. You'll see here that we have a bunch of headings, and we start off with the contract, and these take the DanielCode trade signals every day, and they tell you exactly which contract you should be trading. They tell you which market we're in, and they then create buy and sell signals for you. From those signals, they are very specific. We have a specific entry to the tick. We have a initial stop. We have a first target, should that be required. And then we have correlations. Now, this is vitally important. If, for example, you want to trade the E-mini, the S&P, and the Dow, you are effectively trading the same market. To a lesser extent, but still close to 92% correlation, is the German DAX. It's highly correlated with U.S. markets. Silver and gold, of course, are fully correlated in the sense that of these signals, the markets will both go the same way. That will mean that on about 98% of the occasion, these trades will either both be winners or both be losers. Same with the currencies. If you're in two Japanese yen pairs, they will essentially go the same way. So correlations are to tell you which are the markets that are closely related to the market in which the signal is, and the trade program then adjusts your risk accordingly. It knows what the correlation rates are, and it will tell you exactly how many contracts you should be taking to stay within your risk parameters. And I'm going to show you that as we go along. Essentially, inside the DanielCode website, you will see this come up every day. When these indicators up here turn yellow, that means new signals have been posted for the day. And you go to the trade program, which is this link over in our sidebar menu here, and you fill in only two values. You fill in your account value, whether that's real money or a practice account, doesn't matter, and you put in the risk that you wish to take on each individual correlated trade. And we recommend that that should be 1% to start with, and you can go up to 2%, which is how we trade mostly. That doesn't sound like a lot, but let me tell you that you can see up here that for this particular day, when I took this screenshot, we had 14 signals, and I think 7 or 8 of those were elected. That is, we had valid trades in 7 or 8 of those. So at a 1 or 2% risk for each correlated entry, you can see that that risk escalates quite dramatically. So that's a lot more aggressive than it may appear. I've now shown you a blow-up of the trade program because I want you to understand where this stuff comes from. All of these signals are posted every day, and they originate in the DanielCode website. Trade Navigator, who supply our software and data servers, run the GENIE inside their servers. So what happens is that these signals are created in the DanielCode website every day. They are usually posted 2.5 to 3 hours after U.S. markets close. The reason for that is we don't get a data download usually until 2 hours after US markets close, and these signals are then run through a mainframe in Melbourne, Australia, and they come up with these suggested trades for you. The things to just look at briefly here, because we're going to see this live in a few moments, is here are the markets that we're trading. Here are the buy or sell signals. You'll see you have an exact entry price, your place where you put your initial stop, your first target if that's appropriate, and you have these stop loss and exit protocols. And you'll see that they are 3, R for Robert and C for Charlie. R stands for reversal, and C stands for a continuation, and the 3s are something in between. And that means that we're going to use different stop loss and exit protocols for each of these trades. Not all trades are the same. Reversal trades are trades that require very aggressive action on the stop loss protocols, because the most common counter trend in trending markets is 1 day. So if we get a reversal that could just be a vibration, we want to be very aggressive with our stops. On the other hand, right away from that scope, we have the C or continuation trades, and those are trades where we expect the market to keep going in that direction for a longer time. So we use a different stop loss protocol. And on this page that says trade program, if you roll down, you'll see down here there are notes for the DC trade program, and they tell you exactly what these stop loss protocols are, and they do so in detail. You can see that now we have got the correlated trades. The trade program has gone through. It's worked out what the correlations are. And for a 2% risk, it is recommending that you take this number of contracts in this column, contracts at defined risk. Now, you don't have to take that. You can take less. Those of you that take futures will only want to take the futures markets trades. Those of you that only trade Forex will only want to take the Forex trades. But you'll see once you put those, type in the number of contracts that you want to take, you can then press this calculate total value sold, and it will come up and tell you exactly the total risk that you're taking in dollars and the total risk in percent. So that's where, excuse me, the GENIE starts from. It then comes and gets all of those numbers. Now, to try and keep your interest, I usually show you our results early on. I'm obliged to tell you that past performance is no guarantee of future results, and that I think is a fairly logical statement. But the longer you've been back testing this stuff and keeping results, the higher the probability that it will maintain itself. And the reason for that is that markets change their structure. Most trading programs are optimized to one particular type of market. So there are trading programs that work very well in fast trending markets. There are programs that work very well in bull markets. There are programs that work very well in bear markets, and similarly in consolidating markets. That means that if you do your testing of the results for long enough, the weakness will show up. Now, we've been testing this with an independent person, Dave Hunt, for about 15 months now, and these are the results for the last 12-month period. And in that period, we had a large number of trades. As you can see, we had 857 winning trades. That's 86% of the total. And for a 7-month period from June 2010 until the end of January, we ran a live trade room, and in that live trade room, Dave took the DanielCode signals every day and put them into a simulated account in the view of quite a large number of our members. So we have a lot of people at the DanielCode and here at this webinar today who can say, yeah, I saw Dave doing all of that. I understand. I saw these returns being created. I saw every single trade. And you will see that for that period in the trade room, that simulated account returned, it ran from 100,000 when we opened the account on June the 27th, and it closed at 151,700 at the end of December. It then returned about another 12% for January. I haven't updated these figures because they're just repetitive. The main thing is over this reasonable time period, we had an average of 7.29% using a 2% fully correlated risk. For those of you who have a statistical bent, the Sharpe ratio for that exercise was 4.55. To my knowledge, this is the most successful trading system in the world. Is it the ultimate trading system, the ultimate trading tool? No, it's not, because the ultimate trading tool is you, the trader. And as you become more skilled and more knowledgeable, you will be able to do far, far better than this trade program does, because the trade program works on very strict rules, and I have designed it purely from a point of view of safety. So the trade program and the GENIE, yes, you can do better than that. You will do better than that. We have a lot of traders who do better than these results. But having said that, I think these are, to my knowledge, the best results in the world for a retail trading system, that does not work inside a brokerage house with Chinese walls that are leaky. Some will understand what I mean. Once you've got these orders out for the day, and we just saw an example one day where we had 14 of them, you've got all these decisions to make. What's the market? What contract should I be in? What's the front month in futures? Do I buy or sell? Where's my stop on entry? Where are the targets? Then you've got to go through the whole correlation business. Look at your risk management, then decide when you're going to move your stops, how you're going to move them, and what do I do if this trade fails? Well, the GENIE is a machine that does all of that for you. We have had times in the trade room where it has literally taken a very skilled trader, the guy who ran that for us, Dave, 5 or 6 hours sometimes to create all of the orders. And he is a typing machine. He can type as fast as I can talk. So for you guys and for me, it's very, very onerous to create all of these signals and then to watch the markets to move your stops and manage your risk. Now, we know that for many of you, you don't have the time to do this. You have jobs, you have family obligations, you have interests, and you don't want to sit in front of a screen all day. And that's why I created the GENIE. We know that for many of you who are new to trading, all of this sounds like double Dutch. And what I can assure you is if you stay with the DanielCode long enough, you will learn all about trading. It's a marvelous learn to trade tool, and so is the GENIE, because it is going to suggest to you every day the trades and the stop protocols, and all of that you will see. And the best way to learn is you learn by doing. We can add to that we know that people who come into trading get discouraged, and if they don't make some profits very quickly, they go away and they're lost to the industry. And I think trading is the most marvelous industry. It's if you understand it, as part of which I'm going to show you today, you will see that it is entirely rational and orderly, which is probably not the view you have of it at all. I just want to say to you that one of the things with the GENIE is that it is a software program, and it will only run as well as your computer and your connection to the internet. For most of you who are going to be doing trials, I hope you're going to take up my offer to do trials when we get to that part. You'll be doing them on your home machine or your office machine. You will find that you have all sorts of problems if the power doesn't hold, if your connection to the internet drops out, if Windows forces a upgrade, and what have you. So for that reason, I asked our partners, Trade Navigator, to create a virtual dedicated server. It's actually called a virtual personal server. Dex always likes to correct me on that, but being an ancient attorney, I'm not very up on technology, but you'll know what I mean. It's a standalone virtual personal server that runs out of 2 different locations in Colorado. And if you want to make the choice to use that, Trade Navigator will make that available to you at a pretty modest fee, and then you will have the GENIE running on a standalone machine. Doesn't interfere with your computer, doesn't slow down your resources at all, and is monitored 24/7 by their people. And these machines have a 99.9% stability. So at some stage, if you decide to use the GENIE for your trading, I recommend to you that you consider taking up the offer of a virtual personal server. So what is this program doing exactly? Well, it's pretty simple. It's taking the DanielCode trade signals and the market correlations that we've talked about, and it then physically places these entry orders with the trade platform of your choice. At the moment, we recommend PFG. I have no connection with them other than that we've done some exhaustive testing of Forex in particular. There's no problem with futures. All futures platforms have exactly the same data because they come from central exchanges. And all futures charts will have exactly the same data because that data is disseminated by the central exchange. Forex is different. There is no central exchange in Forex. So that means that the various trading platforms create their own prices, and some of them work off bid charts and some of them work off ask charts. And there are significant differences. We have spent Jerry Winter, who's my personal broker, who I'm going to tell you about more in a little while, did an exercise for months and months testing all of these Forex platforms, and we found that PFG was the most stable and the closest to the Trade Navigator numbers, which is what I use for my charting. So of course they're the numbers that create the signals. Some of these big platforms are absolutely disgraceful. In fact, I would go so far as to say the majority of them. We have had clients with very, very big name Forex platforms seeing their spreads go from 8 ticks to 80 ticks in a matter of 20 or 25 minutes. And that spread, the ability to change the spread during the day, it will defeat any program because it means that within that spread they can hit both sides of the trade without recording a last trade. So one of the very essential things is that you have a platform where the spreads are reasonably tight and reasonably stable, and we have found for Forex that PFG are the best for that, and the GENIE runs with PFG. For futures, the GENIE runs on PFG and MF Global, and we have some guests from MF Global here today. We welcome you, Kevin and Danielle, and hope you're going to enjoy this webinar. So GENIE will back end into MF Global, but at this stage they trade only futures. They do not trade Forex. I put a couple of testimonials up here, and I'm just for you to read through briefly. I don't have any great faith in testimonials because I know that things that work for one person don't necessarily work for other people, and what is important is that this is suitable for you. But people do like to see testimonials, to see that there are other people who use this program and have found it successful, and you'll see that there's another couple that I put in just to show you that we have a huge number of testimonials, well over 1,000, and people are kind enough to write and tell us when they're doing well. So we have a huge number of testimonials. The main thing is I want this thing to be suitable to you. I want this thing to work for you. It doesn't really matter if it worked for someone else. So let's get to this issue first of all, that I'm going to invite you to take a free trial of either the DanielCode website, which will give you the trade program, or the GENIE, which is our auto trade function, or both. Now, we're a relatively small family of traders. We have some hundreds of members, but we're certainly nowhere near the thousands. In fact, we're less than 500. We have a small family of traders. Everyone gets on terribly well. I know a lot of you personally, and this is not a large corporation. This is simply my contribution to the trading world, because I don't think that there's anything else out there suitable. And I would very much like to see all of you folks get to understand markets and benefit from them, and get some confidence about your trading. This will give you confidence because the GENIE is doing everything correctly as I teach it at my basic tutorials. I hasten to say it is not the ultimate trading tool. You are the ultimate trading tool, and I'm going to show you in just a few minutes how you can outperform even these marvelous results that I've told you about. But that will take time as you learn, and we know that people lose interest and lose heart, so we want to get you started on something that shows you the simplicity of the GENIE, and that will If it sticks to its previous 15 months, it will make you money. So if you'll just try to take a note of this. This is also on our contact page at www.thedanielcode.com. So if you don't get these details down, you can go to the Daniel Code website, click on the contact page, and you'll see these contacts as well as other contacts at Trade Navigator. Excuse me. For new guests, for those of you who are not members of the Daniel Code, if you're interested in a free trial of the website or the GENIE, I'd like you to contact Dan or Jerry. There's their email, jerry@thedanielcode.com, or call 312-588-0016. Now, that will connect you with either Dan or Jerry Winter at Striker Securities. Jerry is my personal broker, and he does an awful lot to help all of the Daniel Code clients. He's done the Daniel Code tutorial several times, as has Dan, so they are very familiar with Daniel Code trading and with the GENIE. And if you have given us your phone number, and it's a valid phone number when you registered for this, Jerry will in all probability call you to talk to you. Now, he's not calling to sell you anything. He's ringing to talk to you to see how he can be of assistance. You can talk to Dan or Jerry about all aspects of the Daniel Code, about organizing your trials, about how to trade it, and you should look on these guys as friends of the Daniel Code, because that's what they are. For existing members, of course, you should all know Terry at support. He's our tech guy who runs the website. So you can contact him at support@thedanielcode.com, or call him on 260-918-0155. And for those of you who are existing members, any additional services you require or questions, Terry will look after you. For guests who are going to become Daniel Code members, hopefully, but who are going to start off with their trials, Dan or Jerry will get you organized for everything that you need. If you have not given us your correct phone number, then it's up to you to contact us. We have no way of contacting you other than through email, but we would like to hear from you. Now, you're going to need a number of things to make all these trials run smoothly. You're going to need the Trade Navigator charts and software. You're going to need the Daniel Code library, which has in it a number of proprietary studies, and that works on Trade Navigator and will be made available to you. You're going to need access to the Daniel Code website and access to the GENIE. And I point out that GENIE trials only run on simulated or practice accounts. The trial version does not run on real money, and I want you to spend some time on the practice account and really get to feel comfortable with this stuff. I don't want anyone to become a Daniel Code member and then say, gee, this stuff doesn't suit me. So what we do always is we offer you a trial, and we'd like you to get as involved as you can. We have a Daniel Code forum where you can ask questions. There are a number of experienced Daniel Code traders in there who will help you gladly, and we want you to get to the stage that you say, yes, this suits me. Let's have a quick look at the pros and cons in GENIEs. The pros is, first of all, this is going to do in 60 seconds what will take you anything up to 4 or 5 hours. It then manages your trades in real time. It moves your stop losses, and it knows all of the Daniel Code trade protocols, so it will exit the trades at the right time. It doesn't have emotions. Emotions are a big problem for traders. Being a machine, this thing just does what I have programmed it to do, and it goes on doing it. That in itself is absolutely huge. Now, let me stress to you that the programming that's in GENIE is exactly as you've seen in the live trade room for those of you who are members there, and we expect it to produce similar results. The rules are not the absolute optimum. There are other things you will learn as you go along, and as you become more skilled with this stuff, you will be able to get GENIE to outperform the results I've told you. But that's a nice surprise for you guys to find out as you go along the track and improve your trading knowledge. The cons, it's a machine. It won't optimize the results. It will do exactly what it's told to do, and primarily it's programmed for 1 to 3 day signals, it doesn't always get the continuation signals, which you will be able to see because I'm going to show them to you. If you wanted to get all of these big moves that have been going on in the last few days, I'm going to show you exactly how you got them. the outside bar failures, we always take the stop and reverse on the outside bar. That's part of the DanielCode protocols. That's not a profit-making scheme. That is a loss mitigation scheme. And in Forex in particular, outside bars are generally directional signals. The GENIE doesn't know that way, because I figure by the time you had a short, had to reverse and go long, your nerves will be so rattled that you'll be happy to see the end of that trade. So we programmed the GENIE to work very effectively and exactly as the live trade room and the trade program works. And I'm now going to show you how you can do it even better as your levels of knowledge go up. This is a compliance statement which I am not only required to show you, but I do endorse it very much. There is risk in trading. There is no reward anywhere that I'm aware of without risk. So you should be aware of the risks. If you follow the DanielCode protocols, we will mitigate those risks very greatly for you by our trade management and the fact that 86% of the DanielCode signals that will be suggested to you are winners. So let's move on from that now, and let me take you to the charts, which is the exciting part of the day. So we'll just get rid of that and that, hopefully. Okay, we'll give it a moment or two, and we'll bring up these charts, which are the love of my life. So you guys are going to see some very interesting things here. What I wanted to show you was, first of all, what's been happening in markets lately, and how the GENIE handled those trades and how you could have done better. So this is the E-mini. Just let me make sure that it's come up on your screen so far. Yes, you can see it now. This is the E-mini, a very popular contract. And this is also Trade Navigator software that you're looking at now, which I use and recommend. As part of your trials, you'll be getting free trials of all of this software. But let's just have a look at this E-mini. If you think things were crazy lately, they're not. They are completely understandable and logical. So let's have a look what happened. We had rows and rows of buy signals running up here into the high of this market on February the 18th. We didn't trade that weekend. There is no sell signal there because I didn't create them. That was a holiday weekend, and we don't trade either side of a holiday. But then it ran down here. We got a DanielCode buy signal here. 2 days up, we got another sell signal, our first sell signal there, right below Monday's bar. Now, this is a mini momentum type of trading system. We require trades to be elected before they become valid. And what that means, if it's a sell signal, it has to take out the low of the previous day. If it's a buy signal, like here, it has to take out the high of the previous day. These signals will last from 1 to 3 days, depending on whether they are a continuation or a reversal or a 3-3. The GENIE knows that, and it will carry these trades forward day after day so long as they are valid. But let's have a look at this extraordinary stuff here that I want to show you. Let's see if I can do this. Let's have a look at this. So this is actually the March contract, and I'm showing you this because we had a contract rollover, but this was the contract we were in at the time. And there we had our buy signal ran up. There was our first sell signal right in there. And then we had 2 days up from there, and we had another sell signal in the Dow Jones. Now, one of the things about the DanielCode is with these high degrees of correlation, if you get a signal in any of the U.S. indices, the Dow, the S&P, the Russell, the NASDAQ, it can be executed in any other one of the correlated markets if it is elected. Similarly with gold and silver, if you get a signal in gold, you can execute it in silver, and vice versa. And these correlations allow all sorts of opportunities. So here was today's bar. For me, it's tomorrow. It's actually Wednesday here down under, but for you guys, it's Tuesday evening. So there's that great big bar. What I want to show you is how accurately these markets will follow the DanielCode numbers. So In here you'll see at the top I'm pointing to a bar that says DC. That's the GENIE bar, and that's where you're going to find the DanielCode trading signals. And perhaps I should go through that before I show you what I've got here, which I think is of great interest. So let's first of all just do this. We need to get our GENIE working. I've got so excited about what I want to show you about today's markets that I've lost where I was in the plot. And the first thing we do is we go up here to this bar that's up here, and we see the second one in is a set of excuse me, traffic lights. And if you click on that, that should connect to the real-time streaming data, and that's the starting place for your GENIE. Once you've done that, you'll see that Jerry, if this sound starts to go down, let me know, would you please, because I've got a internet connection here that may suck out some of the broadband, some of the bandwidth, and I can show the folks this on the virtual private server if necessary. So we've now got our real-time data streaming. We go along to this button here, which you may not be able to see, but it says DC. It stands for DanielCode, and we just click on that. And that will then connect us to the servers at Trade Navigator, which may take a moment or two while the signal goes through to Denver. And you'll see now shortly a box will open up in our main screen, and it's doing that now. And this is inside the trade program from Trade Navigator. So we can see here now that we've got our trade set up. These are the trades for March the 16th, which is Wednesday, and these trades are posted, as I said, about 2.5 hours after U.S. markets close. Now, don't try to trade these signals. I don't think any of them will be elected, but I've created these just for demonstration purposes. All of these signals have different entries. Some are C for continuation, some are R for reversals, and some of them are threes. And the GENIE already knows which is which. Okay, so if we go in here and we put in our trade value, our account value, and then we put in our risk value, only 1 or 2%, and then it will come up and it will give you this page again. So we can go through here, and it's saying that to stay within your 2% risk, you should take no more than 2.6 contracts in the Aussie USD. You can round those up or down if you like and still be within the safe parameters that I recommend. So you go through here and you fill out exactly what you want. If you wanted to take only Forex trades, you'd only fill out the Forex boxes. If you wanted to take only futures trades, you'd only fill out those boxes here that relate to futures, but at any rate, let's just for the purpose take some futures and some Forex. Once you've done that, we've told it the account value, we've told it the risk we want to take on each correlated trade, and we then ask it to calculate the total value sold. It will start thinking about that as soon as the signal gets there and work that out, and it will come back and tell you in this bottom column, as it has done, what is the total risk value of all of these trades you're risking if all of these trades are elected at the entry place that the program has told you, and the stop is where the program has told you. You will be risking a total of $4,200 on this account, which is 10% of your total account. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different trades within our 2%. So that's fine if we want to do that. The next thing we do is we don't have to worry about creating the orders. They're all done for us, and we simply submit the trades. It will come up with this confirmation page and say these are the orders that you want to place. These are the groups of orders that it's going to create. Now, I'm going to show you those, but don't get hung up on them. We can arrange to give you a very intensive one-on-one training session with Renee Adcock from Trade Navigator, who will explain all this stuff to you in much better detail than I can do. But merely we do here is we click the submit button, And up the top here we have our trade console now showing, and you'll see that the orders have gone into all of those positions. I'll just take you out of here because I'm frightened about running out of broadband bandwidth. So I'll just get out of there and I'll show you this on a simpler version. Just bear with me for a moment, folks. So that seems to have been done. We don't need that, and we'll just go straight into the virtual personal server. This is the virtual personal server at Trade Navigator that I use. It works exactly the same as what I was showing you if this program's installed on your own machine. I want to show you this because I can now show you the DanielCode library. When you do your trial of Trade Navigator and the DanielCode, you will get the DanielCode trade library available to you. And it comes with two stochastics, a 533 is fast stochastic and a slow stochastic. And they're rather special because I've had those designed and built so that they ignore inside bars, and 99% of all problems and false entries on stochastics excuse me, are caused by inside bars. We also have a momentum indicator here called the CCI. It's not the usual CCI that you'll find in studies. It's one that I've created. You'll get the swing points so you know where to draw your retracements, and you'll see a lot of these bars have a little X over them, which means that is a BB3 or the biggest bar of the last three, and that is a caution against trying to take an intraday entry on those. So let's do the same thing here. Our green light is on, so we know we've got real data streaming. We go to the DC button here and we click it. This is a lot faster, of course, and it will go straight to it's already filled in the default value. This is only a simulated account, folks. I'm not trading today, naturally, after a strange day yesterday. But let's just show you the simplicity of it. So there we've taken all of the Forex accounts. We're going to take the DX trade. We like the idea of wheat reversing. I don't think it will anytime soon, certainly not today. But we've now got a nice difference between futures and Forex. So we've just typed that in and we click calculate total value sold. That tells us immediately what our total risk is and what the percentage is. And the next thing we do is we click this button which says submit trades. It comes up and asks you, it gives you a confirmation. It tells you which trades you've taken. Are you happy with that? This is what you want to do. You choose your account, either your simulated account or your real money account. And you simply click submit and it's all done for you. And you'll see these positions up here starting to tick up under open orders. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions. We can now look at what those orders are. You don't need to do this. Those orders are placed. The stops are placed. Everything has already been done for you, and GENIE will go on moving your stops and handling your trades until they are exit. Let's have a look just at one of these. This is a Forex trade. This is the Aussie US, and we've given it the entry, and the entry has not been, the condition has not become true. That means it's waiting on it. But these are all the other things that it's going to do. Once it's elected, it's going to create a stop and reverse. It's going to, because of this is a reversal trade, it's going to create the first target. It's going to take off half the position of the first target. It's going to move the stop loss to break even, and then it's going to exit at the first profitable close because that's what it's programmed to do. And you'll see some of these are different. Some of these, for example, this continuation trade down here in the US dollar, it doesn't have a first profitable close and it doesn't move its stop loss so aggressively. That is a continuation trade, so that is going to simply use this stochastic here. This is the fast stochastic. If we have a continuation trade in these markets, the GENIE uses a 2-bar trailing stop on the fast stochastic until it gets overbought or oversold, which means above 80 or below 20 on the fast part of that stochastic. They call that stochastic stock K, and it then moves to a 1-bar trailing stop. So that's all pretty logical. And that's all we do. Your orders are in there. You can click on these buttons and it will tell you what orders are there, where it's going to buy, where it's going to sell. It will tell you your open orders. It will tell you, let's get rid of this fellow, it will tell you the trade sense orders, which is what runs the logic behind this. It will tell you today's fills, and it will track all of those trades and show you your profit and loss as the day goes on. So in other words, it's a one-stop instant solution for you, and I think it's the best in the world for what it does, and I do earnestly suggest that you have a look at that. Okay, let's move on because time is running out. I want to move quickly to these charts to show you how perfectly logical markets are. This is the E-mini. I think I told you we didn't trade at the February the 18th, 19th was a holiday weekend. Just let me check that you can see this chart. Yes, you can. So there we ran down 3 days. We had a buy signal. It went up 3 days. We then had a sell signal, which we got into. And then because the stochastic here was nowhere near overbought, this did not create a continuation trade. So these trades would have just been 3 threes or exit on the first profitable close. But you can see over here on the right-hand side, when you get your DanielCode library, you'll see a small hedgehog, which is the DanielCode logo, and we call him Dan. And with that, in that DanielCode library, you will have this retracement tool, which you can see me using now. There are a number of swings in this pattern, but the first one of them and the operating swing runs from this high down to that low. So that's where we're going to draw our first set of retracements. And you use the DanielCode tool to do that. And these are all DanielCode ratios. Now, what you're going to see is the great truth that all markets turn at the DanielCode. These are not Fibonacci numbers. These are discrete ratios that are created from the DanielCode, and they are absolutely marvelous, as I'm going to show you. So this is, in fact, the March contract, which is what we were in when these trades were taken. You see this market ran down. It broke through the 1295 number, the DanielCode support. It rallied back up. This is a 74% retracement. It came back down. Look how close to this 1295 this thing stopped and turned. Up it went. Next bar down, the low of that bar is, I think it's actually 1302.75. This is the number we were looking for over here, 1302.75, accurate to the tick. 2 days of indecision, and then this route started down here. This market came down and broke through the 1295 DanielCode number. It went to the next number, 1283, and it turned at that number. The low of that day is 1283. This stuff is very often accurate to the tick. It's usually accurate to just a few points, but we often see it being accurate to the tick. It then ran up, and here was the next day of indecision. But where did it open? It opened at 1302 on the DanielCode number. It closed at 1295 on the DanielCode number, and then today we had this big drop-off. I was talking to one of our clients earlier today who was in this trade. He's been in it since March the 1st, and he was telling me how marvelously it was doing, and of course it is. And I said to him, and the market was then trading in here somewhere, Mo, you'll recall, about 1277, and I said to him, this black line here, 1271, is the last level of support for that particular swing, which I've got marked with that red band. And I said, if the market breaks that, it's going to go to the next level of support, which will be 1254. Now, let me show you how that's done, because this stuff is really, really easy if you know about the DanielCode. So let's crunch this stuff up so we can see much more of this chart. This was our first operating swing down to the January 31st low. Once that was surpassed, our next operating swing becomes the whole swing from the high down to the low, which is right down there, back at November the 16th last year. If we take the DanielCode, we're through this swing now. I've shown you how accurate it is, so let's take it off. If we then go and get our DanielCode retracement tool, which is this little black tool here, it's actually a hedgehog, and we put that on for the major swing, you'll see that one of the retracements for the major swing was 1254. And I said to Mo, if it goes through the black line of the minor swing, it's going to go to 1254. And that's almost what it did, but in fact it's better than that, because don't forget this is the March contract. If we go to the June contract, which is now the front month, and we do the same exercise, you can see that it's broken through the black line, so that swing's gone. Then we just simply take the hedgehog and we do our retracements. This is now the front month. There's the low, and there's the 50% retracement, 1251. Today's low was 1251. Exactly. No variance, 100% spot on. Now, these charts do this all the time, and when you start to understand these DanielCode numbers, they are going to give you an enormous amount of confidence to trade markets, because you will start to understand what markets do. Does that mean it's the end of that move down? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have that forecasting ability. But the high probability target, once it broke through the minor swing, was the 50% retracement, which is a DanielCode number. And that's where, Mo, I told you it was likely to go. So I hope when it got down there, you had a trailing stop on it and finished up putting a large amount of money into your bank account. So that is just one example. Let me show you another two. And I want to make the point to you now that markets do what they do regardless of news. I get a lot of people say to me, oh, does this encompass news? It does encompass news, but not the way you think. This is the news. Markets react to these DanielCode numbers all the time. The Fed follows them, the Bank of Japan follows them, so does the Reserve Bank. You'll find that nearly all of these initiatives and surprises come on a DanielCode cycle. So here was our signal in the Japanese yen for Friday, the day of the earthquake. And we had a sell signal posted on Thursday night, 2.5 hours after the market closed, to sell this market, USD Japanese yen, if it was elected, that is, if it took out the low of the previous day's bar, which was March the 10th. And I can tell you this trade was elected before the news reports even hit about earthquakes, tsunamis, or any other drama. And strangely enough, you see here, this is the US dollar going down and the Japanese yen going up. So after the news of the earthquake, the yen in all pairs, right across the board, strengthened dramatically. And that's the complete opposite of what your bias or your idea of events would have told you. And even the newspapers and websites who report these things, the job of journalists is to try and find some news that fits what the market has done. They don't know about this stuff beforehand. We do. So, I mean, I was laughing my head off to find them saying, oh, the Japanese yen strengthened because it's anticipated that there's going to need to be a lot of money repatriated to pay for the damage. That's a very counterintuitive comment, and you can make any case you like. You can find all sorts of things from the news that will fit, but the reality is that on Thursday night, 12 or 15 hours before the earthquake, the DanielCode had a sell signal, and as you can see, it was a beauty. One of the things I'm going to show you just quickly here, and you can do this very simply on your own computers at home, is to show you how logical markets are. If we just look at this bar here for the moment, which is the March the 14th, you'll see that it ran all the way down. I might be able to make it more clear with the spotlight, I think they call it. Yeah, here was our sell signal right in here, and it ran down, closed its low. Then the next day it ran all the way down, huge big bar down, and it ran all the way back and closed there. Why did it do that? I'm going to show you. These markets do these things because they are programmed to do it, and it doesn't matter whether there's a catastrophe, whether there's no such thing as a market crash. When markets go down, they go down because they've reached a DanielCode time and price cycle. And we know about this stuff before anyone. But just let me show you what you can do on this at home, and you'll find this very useful, and I hope it will demonstrate how orderly markets are. Let's crunch this stuff up. We're bringing in a lot more bars now, and we can very simply go and just add a tool of the highest high and the highest low. This is a standard function inside Trade Navigator. The default setting is 2, but the DanielCode basic time cycle is 29.6. You'll learn about this stuff at tutorials, and it's in a lot of the webinars. So the half cycle of that would be 14 or 15. I choose to use 14. Let's see what happens, and let's crunch this up some more. I think this is fairly dramatic. You will see that the market follows these numbers all the time. So what happened over here? Why did this market bounce all the way back? Because it had to close above the lowest low of the last 14 days. That's a basic rule of markets. No one's told you that. It happens all the time. If you want to be more precise about it, we can convert this chart from a bar chart to a close-only chart. And now you're looking just at where the market's closed on each of those days. And you will see that it runs within this channel like clockwork. And this is not a very sophisticated pattern at the DanielCode. We have a much more effective way of doing this, but I wanted to show you folks something you can do simply and easily at home. And you will be amazed how all markets run between the 14-day highest high and the 14-day lowest low. And that's quite extraordinary, don't you think? So let's get back to our daily charts and expand this a bit so we can see it in more detail. And that is why this market went down to there. It went down to 80.6. It ran all the way up to the close because that's where the 14-day lowest low was, and it wanted to close above that. Now that that's turned down, it has latitude to go down further. Let's move on. We've shown you the E-mini. We've shown you why how Forex markets move with the DanielCode, and I had a couple of others I want to show you. One of them was wheat, which has been a marvelous trade. Here's the May chart in wheat, and here was the DanielCode sell signal for the second leg down. Right on the day it started to turn around. Now, this may have been a continuation signal on GENIE. I don't recall because the stochastic is almost high enough to set it up. But you can see that if you'd stuck in that trade, as my friend Mo and others did, a huge amount of money made out of those trades. Similarly, if we look at oil, because we cover all of these markets, you're going to see just the same thing. There's the, that's corn. Let's find oils down here. Here's oil. You can see that you got a DanielCode sell signal right at the top. Now, I don't think anyone else in the world had this as a sell. This sell signal was posted on Monday, March the 7th, when the rest of the world thought this was going to $200. We had the sell. It was elected on the Tuesday. That was a reversal trade, so that was a get out of it reasonably fast with an aggressive stop. One day up, and the second day went inside, and then we gave you another DanielCode sell signal, so you couldn't have missed this. So likely the DanielCode guys are the only ones who've been short the oil market because nobody else knew that was the top. But you knew it on the Friday night while the rest of the world was yodeling about oil going to $200. So this stuff is very, very clever. It amazes me. It amazes everyone. And let me just show you when I talked to you earlier about how you are the most important trading tool, not any of these tools I provide to you. I want to just show you this E-mini trade again and show you how you could have. This is the March contract, and I'm going to show you something that I teach at tutorials. I do tutorials a couple of times a year. Some of them are in Australia or New Zealand. They're usually in November and March of the year. And I do tutorials in the United States over the summer. July, August last year, likely August, September this year. Jerry, you're going to let me know when the kids go back to school so I don't have to be squabbling with a lot of school children on holidays. And I teach this stuff to you. This is actually one of the charts from the GMAG sequence, which we talk about, that's an acronym which is a bit of an in-joke, named after my friend Shift 4, Mr. Smeds. But these are the continuation trades. This is what I teach you tutorials, how you can stay in trade for much, much longer periods. Now, this is not in GENIE. This is a tutorial subject. People who come to my tutorials pay a large amount of money to learn this stuff, so it would not be fair for me to put all of this stuff out on the website. But I want to show you the overwhelming logic of what happens. This background color is just to show the long-term trend which is created within the GMAG charts. And every one of these blue arrows here is a buy signal. So all the way up, we had buy after buy after buy. There's one, there's one, there's one. All the way up, all these blue arrows are continuation signals in the GMAG trading protocols. We got the sell signal at this high here. The signal was to sell in the DAX and the Russell. I've told you these markets are so highly correlated that if you get a signal in one, you can sell it in the other correlated market. So a signal in the Dow or the DAX or the Russell can be executed in the S&P or the NASDAQ or whatever. So we got that sell signal 2 days down. We got another buy signal. We got another sell signal here to get this big down outside bar. We didn't get a buy signal there because this background is pink. It should be red, but it's a pinky color, and that tells you that the major trend at this stage was down, so you didn't take buy signals. But we got another buy signal here, and up it went. Now, let's expand this so you can see what a really good trader, how they handle this, and how many of our people who've done the tutorials have done. This is the recent trading that I've showed you. You may think, oh dear, this is a panic. It's all about the earthquake. It's not. It's about markets, because we had DanielCode time cycles expiring, and this, I can assure you, this was March the 1st. That's way before any earthquakes, before any drama. We had a DanielCode sell signal. 2 days later, this market rallied, and because we're in this pink background, that tells us that the long-term trend is down, and we're going to hold these trades for a longer period. And we're going to use a sliding stop, which will be a 2-bar trailing stop on a continuation trade until the fast stochastic gets overbought, oversold. Then it's going to tighten into a 1-bar trailing stop. You'll see on the 2-bar trailing stop above this bar, if you had it there, it was never hit. Mo and others got into this trade right here and are still in it. Then we had 2 days up, and to make sure you understood, we created another sell signal for you, this time in the Dow Jones, but could just as well been executed in the E-mini, and that was elected at 1311, and this market went down today to 1251, exactly where it should have gone. So to a lot of you hearing commentary, watching television, they'll be saying, oh, this is panic, this is selling off in regard to the earthquake. It's not. And those guys don't know what they're talking about. That's why they're not trading. These markets go exactly as they're designed to go, and they go with a great deal of precision to the DanielCode numbers, and it's so good that at times it is even predictable, and that's what we do. So on this subject, let me just show you very briefly our latest wheat trade, and you'll see exactly the same thing. Because this was in a GMAG sell phase, which is something you'll learn at DanielCode tutorials. This was a 1-day signal in the GENIE, but for the Gnostics, those who have knowledge, those who have done the DanielCode tutorials and learnt this stuff, this was a roaring signal to hang on to this trade as long as you could. And a 2-bar trailing stop all the way down here has not been hit, and nor has a 1-bar trailing stop. So you can see that these things are all really logical and straightforward. There's also the oil trade, which I showed you earlier. That stayed longer because it came off a DanielCode time cycle from the long-term trend charts, which are all free. They're available at the website. Let me just show you that one. These are 6-day charts. It's vital that for the purposes of our exposition timing charts, DanielCode timing charts run on 6-day cycles. You can see that we had a 59-day cycle expiring on March the 9th in oil, and that's what's turned it around. It turned exactly on its time and its day, which let us have the ability to create that nice short trade there. So I think I've covered a lot of what I wanted to show you, and I hope you're enjoying it. So let's, shall we start taking some questions, because we're at an hour and 11 minutes, and I know that you can't all stay indefinitely. I could talk about this stuff all day. I just love it. I think it's amazing. Here's the S&P chart. Incidentally, I should have updated this, but you will see that almost without exception, there's the March low, which I called to the day, and 2 ticks, and every other turn on the S&P has come at a DanielCode time cycle. This last downturn has actually beaten us around the corner. There was a minor 59 cycle that expired on February the 24th. I didn't have it on your charts. I didn't think it was important enough. But as we know, and I continually tell you, we need all of these things confirmed by price action, and of course we had the daily sell signals for the S&P for you, not once but twice. So let's just return to see what we can do for you in regard to questions. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, let's see your questions. Let's start at the top and walk on down. Okay, so the first question comes from someone's got choppy sound. I'm sorry about that. That's just a function of the internet. Most people have had really good sound. Just let me scan through these questions here. Is the webinar being recorded, Rich? Yes, it is. Will this robot run on MetaTrader? Very shortly. We've had a lot of those questions, and we've got to get it converted to come out in a MetaTrader version. You're certainly welcome to run your trial on the Trade Navigator version, Dan, and yes, we will have a MetaTrader version coming out. MT4, same question. Yes, we will, and I don't know quite how long that's going to take us. Anything we do with technology seems to take a long time and have all sorts of difficulties. If you heard a little swish in the background, that's just me getting rid of flies. We're in the midsummer down here. Did I click record, Terry? Yes, I did. You guys seem to like the times. Most of you are saying, most of you guys are saying this time suits you. It's a bit different to what we normally do, but this is the time, is it not, when everyone gets an opportunity to see it. What email do I send an email to request a recording? It'll be up on the website. If you go to the website and you click on the link that says video, it'll be up there in a matter of days. Terry, my tech guy who lives up in Canada, is very efficient, and he will probably have it up likely 6 or 8 hours after this webinar ends. Can all these markets be traded with one account? Yes, it can. Often Forex accounts do not have futures mixed in. Talk to Jerry about that. PFG have just enabled that. I'm not sure about the detail, but I know that it can be done. We used to have separate accounts. We can now have the one account. We just make an allocation to either the futures and a Forex market. Dave says that the stops appear huge compared to the targets. For the reversal trades, they are, but the stops themselves are adjusted, Dave, by the number of contracts we take. So, in fact, in real terms, we never have big stops or little stops. All of our stops are exactly the same because we use the number of contracts to convert the risk. So we're always risking either 1 or 2% on entry. And on those trades that are reversal trades, the risk reward is not very good, but it is part of the mix that gives us the reversals, and they have been running at an 86% win rate for a long time, and they are part of the mix that's been turning out 7.25% a month. That's a comment we get very often. I mean, if you don't like the reversal trades, if you don't like the risk reward, just don't take them. There are plenty of others. There are lots of trades. You can take just the 3-3s trades or the continuation trades if you prefer. Who's this? How did this do last week with the market changes? Well, those market changes, this is Reg, let me tell you, didn't come last week. They came a long time ago. Here's the high. This is back in February the 18th was the high. You will have seen that we had sell signals on March the 1st, and this is the S&P, and sell signals again on March the 7th. So this is just exactly what markets do. All markets turn at the Daniel code, and the Daniel code signals will be up to date long before the newspapers or anyone else knows anything about it. Are we going to see any live trade? Excuse me. No, Andy. I don't quite know how I could leave a webinar running long enough for our trades. Most of these trades are 1 to 3 days. What are the prices exactly? Sorry, it's a cloud. What are the prices exactly? Well, if you're asking what are the prices of the various parts of the program, Mike, please talk to your contact. If you're an existing member, that'll be Terry. If you're a new member, that'll be Dan or Jerry. We have different packages for different parts of the program. There's a website package, there's a trade program package, there's a GENIE package, and we can split that up into just Forex or just futures. And the longer period you want to buy it for, the more discounts you get. So we've got a variety of packages. If you talk to Dan or Jerry, if you're a new guest or new to the Daniel code, they'll advise you about all of that. PFG Forex link, J Core, don't quite know what you mean, but if you go to just search PFG, you'll find it. If you wanted something more specific, talk to Jerry. He can set you up with your practice account and make sure that the links are all there. When will you have the next tutorials in the US? Likely August, September, maybe the last week in July through to the end of August. There'll be one in LA. There always is, because that's the way I get into America from Australia. There'll be another one in Colorado Springs. Now, that's where Trade Navigator are based. And that's a very good tutorial, because on the last day we actually all go over to the Trade Navigator offices and sit in their training rooms and have their trainers sit with you and show you how to handle all the technology of this. The third one will likely be in Florida. Jerry, where did we say we were going to have that? Fort Lauderdale, I think. I'm not familiar with that area. And likely the last one will possibly be in Puerto Rico, because some of our guys who have done Daniel Code will probably want to come and do a more advanced tutorial, and we usually finish up with a pretty good party. They're a great crew of guys and gals, the Daniel Code people. Mike, when am I coming to London? We don't have a lot of clients in the UK. They don't. It's more that spread trading. They don't have a great culture of trading futures and Forex, but I haven't been over there for about, I guess it's going on 18 or 19 years. In the good old days when the appeals from the Australian High Court used to go to the Privy Council in London, I used to be over there quite frequently, all on the client's expense account. But I'd like to get over there. If we get enough interest from London, I'll certainly be there. Incidentally, Mike, I think Trade Navigator want me to do a presentation at either a UK or European expo. I did the Vegas Traders Expo for them in November last year, and everyone thought that was very successful. So I might be over doing one of those expos. Steve, can you show us a trade? I've shown you a heap of them, mate. I hope you got them. Here's the E-mini you're looking at. This was a buy signal on February the 24th. It went up 2 days. We had a sell signal for this big outside bar, exit market on close. 2 days up, and then another sell signal in the Dow Jones, which could have been executed in the E-minis. You'd have been short at 13.11, and I'm not quite sure whether I actually got around to showing you the new chart. Let me show you this while you're there. We were talking about how accurate this stuff does. I've now switched from the June contract, from the March contract to the June contract. And I was telling you that when I was speaking to Mo last night, I said that E-mini, if it breaks through that 12.59 of the minor swing, it's going to go to 12.51. Well, there's the June contract. Today's low was 12.51. Doesn't mean it's the end of the move. We'll only know that from our ongoing signals, but it was certainly a very strong support point on the DanielCode, and in that trade you would have been rushing your stops down so you didn't give them back the lovely money. Steve, I've shown you quite a few of those trades. And let's have a look. How old's the DanielCode website? Corny's asking this. It's about 3.5 years of age, and he says, how come only 15 months historical data? Well, when I started this thing off, it started off just showing you the DanielCode blue lines, which are on the members' charts to show you the points at which markets turn, and I thought that would be of great help to people. It was, and then we found a lot of people who couldn't trade it, who didn't know what the reversal signals were, so we went and did a bit more work on that. Eventually we got to the stage that I started creating these TO3 signals, which were just the reversal signals. That went on for about 14 months, and then about 18 months ago I added the additional TO3 plus signals, which are the continuations and the reversals. So it's just been a building process. In answer to your question, is it Corny, J Corny, J-C-O-R-N-E? It's just been a building process. It's like the GENIE is new. How much data are we going to have on that? Well, it only started really this month, so you know, we just record the data as it comes out. Joy, am I based in Australia? Yes. What is the leverage in FX? You need to talk to Jerry about that. It's slightly different for all of the pairs. Jerry's the master of that. What is a not so marvelous DanielCode trade? One we had today. Let me show you which one it was. I think it was the let me see, I think it was likely the Euro GBP. There it is. Here is a not so marvelous DanielCode trade. This was a sell signal. It was, I'm waiting for it to come up. You should be able to see this in a moment or two. There you are. You can see it now. We're looking at the Euro GBP. This was a blue line sell signal from Monday. It was elected there at 86.36, less a few ticks. We have a buffer because, as I told you, a lot of these Forex charts are slightly different. And it failed, which means we had a mandatory stop and reverse at the top. So we went long there, it failed, and we went long at the high. And the way GENIE is programmed, it got out at the close, so it got a little bit of money back, but that was a significant losing trade. One of the points I made earlier is that GENIE doesn't optimize these reversal trades, and outside bars in Forex are often directional signals. If you examine that, you could probably put a trailing stop on it and ride it a bit higher. With about a little bit better than 40% of these outside bars, you'll actually get your money back, or most of it. But the purpose of taking those outside bar reversals when the trade fails is to mitigate the losses, and people find it very hard to do, of course. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, the numbers on the ES chart, Conrad, you wanted to see what they were again. Let me go back and let me show you the E-mini chart. This is the June contract. I'll just run through this really quickly with you again. This was the first swing. This is the operating swing in this market, and it runs from the high on February the 18th to this low. That's the operating swing. So that's the first place that we're going to put our retracement ratios. When you get your DanielCode library, when you're doing your free trial with the DanielCode, you will get, if you're doing GENIE, you'll get this DC button. If you're just doing the trade program, you'll see this little hedgehog down here. and that is the DanielCode retracement ratios, and within swings markets will retrace these numbers. So you'll see here this market came down, broke through this number, rallied back up, came down, turned at this number. Remember, we were in the March contract, now this is June, so it's a tick or two off, but that's all. Then it went up here, there's a retracement on top, it came down, it went to 1298.50 on this day. The number we were looking for, that was 1298.25, it was one tick out. It then had a couple of days indeterminate, and it started down. This moved down here, there was your sell signal, you're still in this. And then it broke through the DanielCode number, it turned at 1279. Then on this day of confusion, inside days are days that lack conviction, it opened at 1298.50. The number for the DanielCode was sitting there, 1298.50. You can see it even on the inside bar. It closed at 1290.50. The DanielCode number was 1291. Then it ran down, it broke this black line, so it went to the DanielCode retracements of the next swing, and I put those on here. And for the major swing, because it's out of the minor swing, I told a couple of our clients, big clients yesterday, that market, the next point of support would be 1251. Today's low was 1251 to the tick. Now, so what the guys I'm talking to about this particular gentleman, Mo, who many of you know, is a great bloke, good friend of mine. He trades, he's a vice president of a major bank and brokerage house in America. He trades a $100 million stock book every day, and he uses the DanielCode to trade futures and Forex and commodities. And he can tell you all about his adventures in the S&P, and he has been short since this sell signal back here, which was the first one. He's been short this since March the 1st because he's done the DanielCode tutorial, and he knew this was a GMAG continuation trade, so he's just held his position all the way down, and hopefully, Mo, you tighten your stops up as it reached 1251 as we discussed. So that was today's low, exactly accurately to the tick. Let's see what else we've got here in questions. What do those numbers mean? They are DanielCode ratios. If you go to the DanielCode website, there's 10 or 15 videos. There's 70 published articles of mine, and you can see all about them in great detail. There's masses of material at the DanielCode website. Does the trade risk calculator take into account it's not closed? No, it doesn't. That question from Tom. Oh, Tom, hi. No, it doesn't. We can make it do that, but strangely enough, it sounds counterintuitive, but the best results come from treating each day's entries separately. A very interesting mathematical question. If you look at the probabilities and do some chi-squared stuff on it, you'll see that's right. But we can make it take into account what you're carrying, if you like. Sounds like Mo is buying the beers at the next tutorial. Hey, Smeds, my friend, nice to see you. I guess you'll be up in the palace up at McMaster's Beach, eh? Okay. Rob asks where'd the DanielCode come from? How's it worked out? It comes from the book of Daniel, which is in the Bible. They're very cheap. You can buy them for about $19 or $20. In fact, you can get them online for free, Rob, if you're interested in that. Look at, in the historical basis of it, look at the earlier articles under my articles tab at the DanielCode. Or for those of you who are really interested, there's a 2-hour audio called Live at the Springs, which is a recording of a free seminar I did at Colorado Springs a couple of years ago. And it goes into great detail about how the DanielCode ratios are created, and including the mathematical truth of it all. Next question we've got is, Mark, GMAG trades, once it's taken, do you offer a signal program that shows the red zones for the longer term trades? How's that generated? That's a proprietary algorithm that we have, Mark, and if you do a DanielCode tutorial, I caution you that I do not teach the GMAG at every tutorial, but if you do a tutorial where the GMAG is taught, you will get access to the algorithm and templates that create all that stuff. Let's move on. Here's Tom. How dependent is the DC trade signal dependent on you? What happens if you decide to join the DanielCode? Well, it's very dependent on me, mate. But there are succession plans. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, but should I decide not to do this for any other reason, which I can't think of, because as you probably gathered with an hour and 30 minutes gone, charts and markets are my absolute passion. But should I decide not to do this for any reason, there are other people who can create the signals. Was yesterday the low? Adrian's turn. Hello, Adrian. He's over in Adelaide. Hello, mate. Is that the new leg up? We don't know. At the moment, it's not. There's nothing like an elected buy signal on there. Let me get you clear on this forecasting stuff. People who say, "Oh, this is the next leg up and it's going to go to so and so," they're talking through their hat. Nobody's ever done that. We do the DanielCode has the market turns better than anyone I've ever seen, and it doesn't work like that. How it works is that we have time cycles and we then look for price action to confirm them. So do we know the future? Yes, to a degree, and the degree is that it will run up the on either side of the median of the long-term trend charts until it doesn't, and that always sounds like double Dutch, but it's not. If you follow the DanielCode daily trade signals, we're looking at this ES now. You'll see how it took us into this little top that we're experiencing now. Nothing. Just let me correct this. I mean, nothing mysterious about this. We didn't trade at this high, but we got into the secondary high here and again here, so we got the bulk of this run down. And I showed you the earlier run of signals on the E-mini, and here it is. So can you know the future? Well, yeah, you can know the future in terms of what we need to know for trading. You can just see how these signals flow, and they'll keep you on the right side of these trades, and they're marvelous, and I hope you're enjoying them. Let's continue with our questions. Adrian, I hope you're well over there, mate. I think you got last time I talked to you, you had a couple of new babies, so good luck with that. Eric, this is quite unusual. How much help do we get to learn this and to help with the trades as they occur? Everything. You can sit down and read 70 odd of my articles and take 15 hours or so and sit through all of the videos, and you will know everything. We did have a trade room where we actually had a friend of mine, Dave Hunt, putting these trades on every day, exactly showing you the trade orders, commenting on them, holding everyone's hand. We had about 400 people in that trade room while it was free, and it ran pretty well 24 hours, 6 days a week. And then when we asked people to pay a modest contribution of $42 a month, to give some recompense to Dave, only about 40 people were prepared to pay, which was very disappointing. So we no longer have the trade room. It's obviously not commercial and not worthwhile for Dave to put in his time. So we give you a lot of help. We have given you more help on other occasions, but at the end of the day, people are like girls. You know, if they lift their skirts, they want some recompense for it, and people have to be paid. So there was no interest in that, and that ended at the end of January quite recently, which I think is a great shame, because I think the live trade room was the best way to learn to trade. Will I have any tutorials this March or April? I don't think so. Faribo, I can't quite see your name here. I'm sorry. The box that lets me look at your questions is quite small. No, probably not. The next lot of tutorials will be in the States, late July, August, maybe early September, and then back here. Have we got an Aussie SPY chart from Robert to show? Yes, I have. I'm not quite sure if it's on this computer, but let's have a look. Here's a very old Aussie SPY chart that hasn't been updated, as you can see, for a long time, because these numbers actually run on one of my other computers. So let's take off the ones that are no longer relevant. These have been overrun, and you can see that with these DanielCode blue lines, this whole sequence is gone. But this was put on maybe February, and you can see that today's low at 4535 wasn't far from the last of those blue lines. If you look at the members charts, you'll see the updates of all of these charts. We do cover the Australian share price index. The complaint is that sometimes the signals are too late, because I don't get the download from Trade Navigator until 12:30 my time, just depending. That's New Zealand, 10:30 Australian East Coast time, which means the signals can't be created until at the least 20-25 minutes after that. So sometimes the market is open. But we have a number of Australian clients, and we have some that trade the SPY and do very, very well on it. Let's see, we'll have to wrap this up soon, folks. Let me run through here, see if I can find any different questions. Timothy, crude has the 59 and 62 on tops imply a fast top to bottom move and return back up. Not necessarily, mate. We actually never know how those things are going to pan out. But if you follow the daily signals, you saw the daily crude signal right at the top on the day that 59 cycle was expiring. What you do is you follow the daily signals and watch how those markets will fit into those time cycles. But when we get to those big time cycles, we're on high alert. We're expecting a change in direction. Great. Oh, Mike, 2 a.m. in the morning. Oh, God, all right. Have a whiskey, mate, or have a little hot toddy. It'll be great. Time doesn't suit you. Is it going to work on Ninja Trader in the future? Yes, it is. But don't wait that long, Joy. That might be a while. Get started with your trial on Trade Navigator. Trials are 15 days. Can I show the DC for the euro? Will it also work on the Ninja? Yes, it will. I've shown you the euro. Perhaps I didn't. Oh, here it is. Bear with me. Here is the euro. Euro, not updated. Euro. Okay. This is the euro. This is the long-term trend chart using the DanielCode time and price ratios. If you're interested in this stuff, please go and look at some of the other videos. I do a lot of work on these time and price cycles, and you can see here this was a 59 DanielCode cycle at the top. It ran down into June the 7th. This was a 70 cycle. That's one of the heathen cycles. It's quite interesting. It's a non-compliant cycle. We call them heathen cycles. On this chart, the 62, which is normally support, is a switch hitter. It can go both ways, as it did here. It gave us the high in August, ran down half a month, gave us a support. Up it went. It had a double top, one at the 70. That's the heathen cycle to match this one here. And then a 62. Down it went. Support to 44. This is interesting because 44 is the number for gold. Gold runs on 44-week cycles, and 59, because 59 is the time cycle for the US dollar, which is usually an inverse proportion to gold. And they switch between them. But it was real interesting to see the 44 giving us a minor low there. Here's this heathen cycle again. Why is the heathen cycle dominant in the euro? It's a long story, and I'd love to tell it to you. Come to a tutorial, and we'll buy some beers and talk about it at length. And, of course, since then, the market has been up. We had a minus 62 cycle there, which then became support and pushed this up a bit further. It's absolutely marvelous, this stuff, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look. What else have we got here? I think we're getting near the end of this. Do I teach a course showing how to derive the signals? Yes, I do. What is the content of the trial, David? If you wanted everything, the DanielCode website, the DanielCode trade program, all of the trade signals, and the GENIE. How can I learn more about it? Leslie, before the tutorials take place. If you read every article I've ever published and look at every video that's on the DanielCode website, you're going to find that you'll be very, very well equipped. Are there any types of books to learn more? No, I invented this stuff. To my knowledge, nobody else knows anything about it in depth. So read the articles, which some of them are great fun. You should enjoy some of them. Some of them are a bit dull. That's okay. Thanks for that. Okay. Ashok, thank you. Trades are entered in GENIE. Can GENIE be exited and the stops managed manually? Yes, David. One of the things that we recommend is that you do a one-on-one 1 hour or more trading course with Renee Adcock from Trade Navigator, and she will show you how the signals are created in TradeSense. Look, it's really easy. I'm a pretty ancient attorney. I'm be 65 in a couple of months, and when I was a young fellow, computers just weren't invented. Go further than that, in Australia there was no such thing as television. So as you can understand, I have no skills with computers. I learned to do everything with a pen and paper and still do. And I've got 3 Parker pens, a red one, a black one, a blue one, which I've had for at least 30 years. And I fill them with quick ink, and I do this stuff in about half the time it takes me to do it on a computer because I have no computer skills. But Renee will show you this TradeSense. The point I was making is that if I can understand it, anyone can. Once you just get the guts of it, it's quite intuitive. And yes, that's what our better traders would be doing. They would be using their extra knowledge and their GMAG knowledge to hang on to these trades much longer. Is the 2% risk per trade on all of the trades combined? It's for each correlated trade, Dale. So, sorry, that's not Dale. What's Dale asked? Oh, that's Dale Potts. Hello, Dale. Let's see the time cycles. I think I've got lost here. 15 days. Fort Lauderdale, thanks, Jerry. Yes, something. Why go to Florida in summer? Good question. I didn't know it was so hot. Somebody told me yesterday it's stinking hot at that time, and probably not a great place to go. Do you ever come to the East Coast? No, I haven't, but I will. I might try and find a nice place over there that's not too hot, eh? So Robin says, Mikey Robin, you might want to simplify your sign-up and marketing. GENIE will be great for beginners. Let's meet for a beer when you're over. Marketing's my bread and butter. Love to talk to you, mate. That's Mike Robinson. Okay, that'll be great. Okay, thanks for your time. I think I've got most of it. Where do you see the progression of the DC code program headed? Options, perhaps? Yes, lots of them. We're going to do a version that lets you put in your own trades and have GENIE manage them. We're very soon going to do a version that allows you to change the stop-loss protocol. So if you want to hold a continuation trade, it'll be a one-click method to change the stop-loss protocols. We've also got a large number of auto exits of various types that you can use. Jay Korn, DanielCode, to derive from the Bible, do you consider astrological cycles? Well, they're the same thing, mate. The DanielCode is the universal cycle of everything. If you go and get plants, animals, trees, anything, and including the celestial cycles, they're all derivatives of the DanielCode fractal. They're the same thing. You're just looking at them in different ways, and people don't understand that they're related. But in fact, they're the same thing. Okay, I've shown you the DC for the Euro Ninja, yes. How I can get a jump on the tutorials. LA summer seems so long away. Leslie, it is. There's not much else I can say. I can't really get away before that, but you need to. If you look, there's a couple of weeks at least of reading in the articles or more, and the same with the videos. If you go through all that stuff, you will meet a lot of people. FXFX is one, he's here, I know, who just say straight out, everything that you need to know is on the website, but people won't take the time to read, and some of these articles require studying. If you look at one of the masterclass articles, there's 2 of them, you'll find that you might have to go through them half a dozen times before you get them. But print them out and study them. It's all there. Okay, so can we edit the numbers with GENIE to allow for vast trade? You will be able to, Mike. Okay, guys, I think that's about it. Can we view the live at the Springs video at your website? Yes, you can. I think it's under the videos tab. It's a recording, and I think that's probably all we can do today, guys. Yes, Leslie, they're a lot easier than dressage coefficients. Project X update. Look, we're waiting on Project X is sort of the next thing in short-term trading, and it's quite marvelous, and it's a system that creates bars based on time and price. If you look at your normal charts on the vertical axis, you're looking at price. The horizontal axis, you're actually looking at time. So, you know, this is price going up here and time going across here. Project X takes these charts and creates a combined time and price, what we call the 4th degree. And that's under development by Trade Navigator programmers at the moment. I spoke with them today, and they said we're doing it, but they couldn't tell me when it would be out. What I find anything to do with programming, once it goes into the system, it's very slow coming out. Adrian, glad to hear all's well with you. Barry, difference between TO3 and TO3 plus. TO3 signals are always reversal signals, and they're the ones that have a fairly small risk-reward ratio. TO3 plus will be the reversal signals and the blue line trades and the continuation signals and what we call the 3-3s. Will a gold chart show the DC projections? This is going to have to be the last thing, guys, because we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes, and some of you are got other places to go to, and I will have to leave you shortly. Here is the this is the DanielCode timing chart and trend chart for gold. So I'll just wait a minute while that comes up. All of these time cycles and price levels are created in they're open to the public. Anyone can see these. They're under the Trading Reports tab at the DanielCode website. I'm just waiting to make sure that you can see this chart, and you can now. And for those of you who want to know why gold turned its toes up in December the 10th, it's because it was a 44 DanielCode time cycle. 44 is the vibration or number for gold, and it's pretty darn deadly. There's a previous video webinar that I did that shows you exactly the difference between the impulse top that came on November the 8th and the trading top that came in this week of December the 12th. That's why that market turned down. It was forced down by the DanielCode. It went down to the 62-week cycle, and it ran back up into a 59. These things are accurate, plus or minus 1 period. It went 1 period past and turned its toes up. This number here, December the 10th, that number was on the DanielCode charts in November. December the 2nd, I think that was there in October, that's right. That number has been, most of these numbers have been on the charts weeks and sometimes months in advance. I think that number you'll see in the last, go back through the previous versions, I'll show you the original chart. I think that went on possibly the 17th of October, so you had plenty of time. If you didn't realize there was going to be a turn in gold there, it's because you weren't following the DanielCode. So that's all I have for you at the moment, folks. I could talk about this stuff forever because I love it, but I see some of you are drifting off. So thank you very much for your attention. We can do lots more of this in the future, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. What are the time cycles? Rob, just go and read the article. It's called Masterclass. It's about time, and there's another one called Masterclass Timing Gold. It's all laid out for you in great detail. I want you to know this stuff because it will change your life. So, guys, thanks very much for your attention. So, ladies as well, good of you to stay through to the end. I hope you found this enjoyable, and The next webinar will be in a fortnight, and we'll continue this very interesting chart work at the same time. So I thank you and bid you good night.